Let's go in. That's Hagak, Shel Hagagats. Actual facts number 24. Actual facts number 24. Who you are, not what you accept. All right. Let's go in further. The breakdown on who the supreme original race is. We are considered the black race today in regards to the colors of the races. I broke down by way of the electromagnetic spectrum, UV radiation. We are able to see colors. Okay. We got to understand that it is a ethereal plane, a spiritual plane, a mental plane, and a physical plane, right? This information that I'm about to give you by way of the actual facts was released throughout the Nuwapian Nation under Dr. Malachi Z. York, the reformer for this day and time, who brought right knowledge, 9 science. All right. When it comes down to the ethereal, spiritual aspects of who we are, we got to know our ancestors predate the creation of the planet Earth. In regards to energy, energy is only created and it never dies. Okay? It can be transformed, but it never dies. Same thing with spirits. New spirits are not being born. The spirits that are here have been here since the beginning of Earth time, right? And spirits reincarnate into bodies on this planet Earth until the planet Earth goes through its cycles. We call it smash circle of order, and disintegrates along with the solar system and the sun. But as of now time, we seem to be confused about who we are. And I told you the Indian debate and the African debate is ignorant. There is no way that you can be an Indian without being an African. And what do I mean by that? Okay. Scientists have concluded that all men, all human beings came out of Africa. Right? And until there's more precise information given, and it doesn't matter the race who gives this information, then that's what it is up until now time. Okay? So, I'm giving you this as a fact. Okay? Pictures don't do justice. Pictures don't do justice. Okay? Because you're dealing with definitions that go alongside with the pictures, right? So I'm gonna really get into it, and this information didn't come from Indian sources. This came from African sources, this information that we're dealing with. It came from gold scientific, biological, chemical sources, right? the original civilizers, teachers, and scientists on this planet is African king and queen. All right, we must know that. Okay, so chemically, let's hit this off again. All right, so from the ethereal standpoint, from the atomic standpoint, and we know atoms create cells, and cells create organs, blood, and things of that nature. Okay. That's my shit right there. That's my shit, but that's my shit right there. All right, so from an atomic elemental level, okay, so you know atoms come together to create persons and things, inclusive of places. Atoms, aside from subatomic particles, are the base ingredients to create, right? These individual atoms come together in how I like to call celestial intercourse and create, right? From the standpoint of nine science, okay, the base of these cells are brain news, okay? So we need to look at these atoms, subatomic particles, as generators to brain, individual brains, because indeed they think, right? They move, you feel me? And that world is much faster than our eyes can perceive. You understand? So when you're talking about the Most High, we gotta understand that we gotta not just see this from a spiritual, mental, physical level as a human being on earth, but know all things created from the Most High, right, are seen and unseen in life, right? Seen and unseen. You can go into angelic beings, spiritual beings, angels, demons, things of that nature, but that's still a level. We're talking about the first levels of creativity, ethereal matter, okay? Atoms. So, let's do a quick search. Because y'all think it's not about the skin. Y'all think it's not about the skin, right? You're like, oh, we not getting into racism. There's a reason for racism. There's a reason for wrong racism and right racism. See, when I'm loving myself, when I understand myself, and I value myself highly, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm practicing right racism. When I can explain to another race being on this planet, right, the value that I have as a black person and who I am, I'm practicing right racism. And so goes for these other races that have value in themselves as their race. And it's not a problem with expressing the value that you have for yourself and the love that you have for your race. Wrong racism comes in when you're trying to hold me back based on something that you created. Stereotypes, true racism, discrimination based on skin, blah, 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 blah. You understand what I'm saying? Now, black people been going through this for a time. Oppression. Okay? Oppression. Based on the activities of other races to exploit and to gain position and power based on the oppression. Some of it is our fault as well, because we value the ghost race material objects, ideals of capitalism, ideals of being rich and wealthy, and in doing that and disregarding the value in your blackness, not being able to see the game or the spell being used against you, so you sell out for a temporary gain, or you sell out for a life-hold gain, right, for the riches, maybe under a contract of entertainment or something like that, right? And you try to fool the people, your people, into making us think that you're a credible black person, when behind the scenes, right, you're nothing but scum. See, we about practicing right racism. And practicing right racism, you have to have value in yourself, which means you're not falling for no moniker. African, Indian, Moor, Bloom, these are all European terms. We're not speaking our own original languages. Okay? We're not speaking our original languages. When the black Indian in America goes up against the media, you know what I'm saying? They are taking losses. Okay? At least when it comes down to the push of us, African Americans in America, getting shine by way of the media, getting respect by way of the media, and changes in socialisms and things of that nature. People talk about the civil rights and all that, but the black Indian didn't do that. Don't say the black Indian was the Negro then and he didn't know. Nah, we're not playing them games, yo. People who moved forward, black people that moved forward in America, are tying themselves back to African ancestry. If it was in a black American, Negro, Indian push to take us back to the original ancestry in America, that would have happened in the 60s. Come on, man. We can't be hearing, the regime was so powerful, right, that the black Indian had to stay in a place and humble themselves and allow themselves to be called Negro for hundreds of years. Why not no push? See, the black Indian movement push didn't come into the 60s until they seen the African American Black Panther Party, the Mau Mau, the Nation of Islam, the Moor Science Temple of America, pushing and advocating for some type of liberation in America. Wherever you are as a black person, that's where Africa is. All races, if you delve deep into their bloodlines, you're going to find an African mama. The African mama not getting pregnant without the African man. We've been in Sweden for hundreds and hundreds of years. Yeah. You may not detect traces with this modern technology we got. You know what I'm saying? Listen, the technology we got versus the technology that they show on TV, is it matching up? You know what I'm saying? We was all Googled off Wakanda and my man Boswick's sister, who played his sister as a scientist. We like, look at all this technology. But what is black people doing right now with any type of technology that was cracking off in the imaginary Africa? Wakanda is a Native American god. What are they telling you? There's no separatism. It's universalism. You and I versus all. We're talking about the woolly-haired people. These niggas out here trying to be separatists. They trying to be American nationalists and American patriots. You feel me? We're talking about value, man. We're not talking about what you would accept for you to get ahead. What you will accept. What you're willing to devalue yourself down to in order to get ahead. They got us in some fucked up positions. Had us in fucked up positions for time, right? But if you know the game, right? When you got proper game and you understand all of this is game, okay? You got to understand God game. And you got to understand yourself as a man, and you got to understand yourself as a woman, black man and black woman. See, they got us stuck in sex, six ether, murder music. You know what I'm saying? Pole shaking music. They got us stuck there. They got us stuck there for a reason. Because too much sex in a life breeds chaos. Not just chaos from dealing with a whole lot of people, chaos from all that energy being blended together, right? Now, that energy being blended together, niggas is not on their right minds. They're not on the right wave frequency. Imagine having a gang of kids, right? From just, hey, nigga, I'm horny today. I'm just gonna get me some. But every time you do this, you have kids. You can see how down through time, you know what I'm saying, the descendants is going to be ignorant. The descendants is going to be ignorant. Right? Get money don't mean get intelligence. Right? They say it takes an intelligent man to run business. No, all you gotta do is know the business that you running. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. Right? Consistency, going at it, and when you get knocked down, you continue to get up. You can learn business. Just like niggas is podcasting, and that's the new wave right now. Look, it's about to get real dangerous. Because we're dealing with people who have lack of control and lack of emotions and have no value in themselves. So when they show you that all it is to get money, right? Get money, somebody else is putting their signature on that dollar bill. You know, where black people seemingly is still the product. With that being said, man, let's go into these elements, man. Hold on. All right, an element defined in chapter 1, chemistry, matter, and measurement. Okay. Now, even if you up on game, even when you read this, you got to go back to ancient Egypt. When you read chemistry, matter, and measurement, you got to go back to Tahuti. It's a substance that cannot be broken down into simpler chemical substances. There are about 90 naturally occurring elements known on Earth. Okay, we dealing with 9 science. There's about 90 naturally occurring elements known on Earth. Using technology, scientists have been able to create nearly 30 additional elements that do not occur in nature. Today, chemistry recognizes 118 elements, some of which were created an atom at a time. This is a good website because it's going to show you the elemental composition of the Earth and the elemental composition of the body. The elements vary widely in abundance. In the universe as a whole, the most common element is hydrogen. About 90% of atoms, followed by helium. Most of the remaining 10%, all other elements are present in relatively minuscule amounts as far as we can detect. Now that's deep. That's deep. Why? Because you are looking at the base composition of a sun. Not nothing else in our solar system. Okay? So when you see these hydrogen atoms and helium atoms, what monotheistic God is out there spreading these atoms around? See, remember I was talking about the ethereal spiritual level, okay, into physical matter, okay? So from that sun, it says on the planet Earth, however, the situation is rather different. Oxygen makes up 46.1% of the mass of Earth's crust, mostly in combination with other elements, while silicon makes up 28.5%. Hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe, makes up only 0.14% of Earth's crust. Okay. Now, let's go down to the elements. Elemental composition of the earth. Okay. We're talking about thinking matter now. Reasoning matter now. Okay. You see that? Now, when you understand this, okay, you should be looking at your nutrition, your body, your muscles, your organs, your makeup, your brain, everything. Okay. You're looking at human beings right now and various other animals on the planet. Okay. Oxygen, silicone, aluminum, okay. Earth overall. So that's the Earth's crust on the left. Okay. But on the right is the overall chemical makeup of the Earth. So you got iron, oxygen, silicone, magnesium, nickel, and sulfur. Right? But also on the left, you have in the crust the phosphorus, the hydrogen, the calcium, magnesium, potassium. You see what I'm saying? Don't let this bore you. Composition of a human body. Oxygen. Okay, so the human body lets you know that the oxygen in the human body is relative to the oxygen in the Earth's crust. Uh-oh, you got carbon. You got carbon, okay? Check it out. Let's go back up. Is there any carbon in the Earth? You should be like, oh, wow. I didn't think of it like that. Where is the carbon coming from? It's not in the Earth's crust, okay? Carbon, right? Hydrogen, nitrogen. There's no nitrogen in the Earth's crust. That's an ignition, like nitric oxide. When you go nitro, right? Hydro, carbon, oxygen. You see what I'm saying? Calcium, phosphorus, sulfur. Okay. Let me see sulfur up here. Okay, in the earth, 1.9% sulfur, Okay, 0.20% sulfur in the human body. Okay, iron, fluorine, zinc, all other metals. All right, so we got that. What we have is there is no hydrogen or nitrogen. No carbon and nitrogen, sorry, in the Earth's crust. Okay, where is the carbon and the nitrogen coming from? Like I told you, melanin is CHON plus P. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Okay, where is the carbon and the nitrogen coming from? Okay, let's hit up DNA, right? Divine nature in Africans. Let's hit up DNA. Okay, here's all the information. Okay, the two DNA strands are known as polynucleotides, as they are composed of simpler monomeric units called nucleotides. Each nucleotide is composed of one or four nitrogen-containing nucleobases: cysteine, guanine, adenine, and thymine, a sugar called deoxyribose, and a phosphate group. Okay, so let's look what DNA is composed of. Now, we have hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, and phosphorus. So we see that the nitrogen and carbon is in the DNA. Are you following me? We was wondering where the carbon and the nitrogen came from in the human body, because it's not in the Earth's composition, elemental composition. So we trace the nitrogen and carbon to the DNA. Okay? To the DNA. You got to ask yourself, where is the Earth the best place to be in order for these elements to come together and create life? You see what I'm saying? To create life. So I showed you a map of the climate zones, right? And the tropics is where it's cracking. Now, I've already said, if you want to go to South America or Mexico, Middle America, and the Caribbeans, and say that's where human beings started, you have to prove that. Okay? All human beings go back to one source. Okay? I told you about the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Look where America is, North America. Okay? It's not in the equatorial zone. It's not in the sub-equatorial zone. Okay? It's in the subtropical zone. All right? Now it says arid and temperate for the climate zones in this map. You see at the bottom it says arid and temperate. We can look that up right quick. Definition of temperate: relating to or denoting a region or climate characterized by mild temperatures. Okay. So arid is of land or a climate having little or no rain. too dry or barren to support vegetation. Okay? So we was on the elements of DNA. Boom, boom. Let's hit melanin up. Wow. Okay. We got pictures right here, but for the sake of discussion, we need information. Okay, we need information. Now, the chemical formula you see up here at top, C18H10N2O4. Carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen is in melanin. So we got the nitrogen and the carbon in melanin. We got the nitrogen and carbon in the DNA. We got the nitrogen and the carbon in the human body. But the nitrogen and carbon is not elements that compose the earth. Okay? Now, there are 5 basic types of melanin. Okay? The first 3 is the most important. It's eumelanin, pheomelanin, and neuromelanin. Okay. Now, if you don't understand this information right here on eumelanin and understanding the #1 organ on the body in regards to skin and hue, don't tell me you're an Indian. You're talking about politics, right? And anybody can get political, especially when the people have the power. The people can come together and agree that they're whatever they want to be. Okay? See, we're going to have to wonder if the government is going to turn into a dictatorship. Where they start telling you you can't be anything other than what we want you to be. Okay? Eumelanin has 2 forms linked to, I'm not going to try to pronounce them words. You can see it. They in the blue highlights. Okay, eumelanin is dark brown or black and insoluble. Okay. Both eumelanins arise from the oxidation of tyrosine in specialized organelles called melanosomes. So when you say melis and melanin, they be like, that's Greek though. But that's the scientific terms. See, they telling you to use Indian in America because those are the terms that they used. But that don't mean you're an Indian. In fact, I don't see Indian or African in this eumelanin breakdown scientifically. You dig what I'm saying? You got to know who you are, man. Pheomelanin, okay? When a small amount of eumelanin in hair, which would otherwise cause blonde hair, is mixed with pheomelanin, the result is orange hair, okay? Which is typically called red or ginger hair, okay? My bad. Okay, you got neuromelanin. Okay, so when you talk about the breakdown of the races, you got to look at them from this standpoint. Okay. Now I'm going to show you something. Okay. You got to know the difference between this and this. Okay. This is a eumelanin structure. Okay. You see how uniform it is. This is a pheomelanin structure. You see, it's not uniform like a eumelanin. But if you look at the alignments of the elements, right, you will see that these elements are in reverse to these elements. You see that? So you got COOH on a carbon element. but you got HOOC, okay, on a carbon element, right? Also inclusive of this letter S, sulfur, and then nitrogen by itself, okay? You don't see nitrogen by itself in this code. You see oxygen by itself, okay? But in this regard, in some cases, you see nitrogen by itself. You rarely see oxygen by itself. You see oxygen connected to a hydrogen element. You dig what I'm saying? You see these little arrows coming off of the carbon design, okay? That is to let you know that we are dealing with the laws and creation of opposites, okay? These are opposite structures, okay? Both of these structures need neuromelanin. Now I'm going to show you how the copper color started with the African, okay? You are an Indian because they mixed in with us. You're not going to find this nowhere except on this channel. So I seem to be the only brother that's dealing with this scientifically. Everybody else want to be like, what can I be accepted as, right? Tyrosinase is an oxidase that is the rate-limiting enzyme for controlling the production of melanin. The enzyme is mainly involved in two distinct reactions of melanin synthesis, otherwise known as the Reber-Mason pathway. Firstly, the hydroxylation of a monophenol, and secondly, the conversion of an O-diphenol to the corresponding O-quinone. O-quinone undergoes several reactions to eventually form melanin. So they're telling you about the synthesis of melanin, right? Tyrosinase is a copper-containing enzyme present in plant and animal tissues that catalyzes the production of melanin and other pigments from tyrosine by oxidation. Okay, in humans, the tyrosinase enzyme is encoded by the TYR gene. So you need to look at SLRC, MC1R mutations when dealing with these human beings, all right? Copper color, copper containing, as you see, they're talking about the element copper, right? So don't hit me with no 1828 definition of the copper colors are the original aboriginals when this is found in melanin, and Africans are the original human beings, unless one is going to prove that the Africans descend from the Indians. Okay? We find in copper in melanin. Right? But we also talking about those with woolly hair. If you're not hitting me with none of this information right here, man, you wasting your time. You wasting your time, okay? Because today the Indian is basically trying to do what the Negro has done, the African American, okay? When has any black Indians in America raised up? I'm not saying there hasn't been any black Indian dealings with the government in regards to being recognized, but I'm talking about when did any black Indians come together in America and say, first of all, we're black Indians, and this is our protest? It has never happened. Why? Because the majority of black Americans know that Indian is in them, mixed in them. Yeah, you may have had an Indian grandmother or Indian grandfather or two or three. You didn't have a whole tribe of them, and you not full blood. There's no black American in America today a full blood Indian. Now, when it comes down to African blood, the majority of black people on this planet, the majority of their blood is going to be African. That's how powerful the blood is, yo. As much as they have mixed in with us, you would think that we wouldn't even have our woolly hair anymore. Okay? Oh, but we're not done, because we was like, where does the carbon and the nitrogen come from? Let's check that out. Okay. Where is the carbon and nitrogen coming from? The elemental composition of the sun. I don't want to do that. Let's find a better picture. Matter of fact, let's stay where we were at. All right, I wanted to find some scientific information. Okay, so let's blow this up. That little ball right there is the Earth compared to the sun. Okay? When you see the shadow on the sun, right? On the edges of the sun, we as non-scientists consider that Afro hair, right? The focal line that is coming off the sun, we consider that the precursor of Afro hair. Okay? That's the Earth. And we looked at the composition of the Earth. Here we go. Composition. Okay. Hydrogen, 92%. Helium. This means that the sun is greater. Is a creation way greater than the planet Earth. Okay? Because the sun created the planets. The sun created the planets. You got hydrogen. You got helium. What's next? What's next after that? You see that? So then you start going into the magnesium, the oxygen, the silicon, the sulfur, and the iron. That's Earth. Those are elements in the Earth. What is the four first essential elements? Hydrogen, helium, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. Really, it should be CHHON plus P. And you see, where's phosphorus in the sun? The sun doesn't create the phosphorus. The Earth does. And that's how you know we're Earth beings, because of the phosphorus. Right? Now, you got to understand Okay, hydrogen and helium as gods, carbon and nitrogen and oxygen, these elements as gods. Phosphorus. Now, when you're dealing with these angelic beings, okay, phosphorus is a chemical element. It has the symbol P, an atomic number 15, 6, right? 1 and 5 is 6, okay? It has a concentration in the Earth's crust of about 1 gram per kilogram, okay? In minerals, phosphorus generally occurs as phosphate. Now, when you looked at DNA, you needed phosphate in the DNA, right? In white phosphorus, phosphorus atoms are arranged in groups of 4, written as P4. White phosphorus emits a faint glow when exposed to oxygen. Okay, so y'all heard of Kirlian photography, or when you're looking at your aura, right? Okay, white phosphorus emits a faint glow when exposed to oxygen, hence the name taken from Greek mythology meaning light bearer. Lucifer, referring to the morning star, the planet Venus. Okay, the term phosphorescence meaning glow after illumination. Y'all hearing about the glow ups, right? Illumination. See, my page is official Illuminati. I know what Nabi is, but it's all about the lights. The igniting of light, the extinguishing of light, right? Phosphorus is an element essential to sustaining life, largely through phosphates, okay? Phosphates are a component of DNA, RNA, ATP, and phospholipids, complex compounds fundamental to cells. And I told you, atom in the cells, and cells create the organs. Now, it's no different that the organs in the body is connected to an instrument called an organ, which is a keyboard, which is a piano. Okay? It's harmonics. It's harmony. You know what I'm saying? It's harmony, right? See, you probably wouldn't put it together like this, but this is 9 science and this is Grand Kush, right? You got to have a 9I, right? It's 9 over 6, okay? Horus, also known as Heru, Har, Her, and Hor in ancient Egyptian. Look at the names, right? Horus, Heru, Har, Her, or Her, and Hor. Okay, is one of the most significant ancient Egyptian deities who served many functions, most notably as god of kingship, healing, protection, the sun, and the sky. He was worshipped from at least the late prehistoric Egypt into the Ptolemaic kingdom and Roman Egypt. And see, people talk about Egypt, but you don't understand that the Greeks and the Romans did come in and conquer in the last dynasties of ancient Egypt. This is the African power losing power. They talk about Africa, what Africa now, right? Look at the difference between America and Africa. They like, if you want to go back to Africa, go back to Africa, man. Africa been hit with so many sanctions and exploitation at the beginning of the Roman and Greek empires. Okay? There was little trade. There was necessary trade then for survival, but as the Roman Empire took hold of the world, there was little trade with Africa. And in the case of the Roman Empire, what was America doing, Black Indians? not functioning in the world. The Africans is functioning in the world. Right? The Africans is functioning in the world. When the Roman Empire set after World War I and all that, man, they put sanctions on Africa. This is a whole capitalistic, monopolized society over here. Okay? Late prehistoric Egypt. Okay, the reason why his name is Horus is because that's the Greek name. My bad. But his name is Heru. Okay, now look at Heru and how it's spelled. There's no vowels. Okay, then you see the Greek down at the bottom. Horus. You got to understand the language. All right? You got to understand the language. He was carried over into Greek and Roman religion. Okay? The lineage of Horus, the eventual product of unions between the children of a tomb. And then it goes into the mythology origin, and then people, they got their own minds about what's cracking right here, but you'd be surprised what niggas is doing today in America, trying to talk about what was gay and homosexual back then, right? Look at the world that you living in today. Okay, who is the God running the world today as it is? Okay, what God do we know is tolerating all of this shit? Now they'll tell you that ancient Egyptians was pagans, or they were weirdos or what have you. Man, we're talking about time, right? This is the ignorance. We're talking about time. In regards to us in America, this is a long time ago. Okay, in regards to the white man, this is a long time ago, right? What I'm not trying to hear is that you some black Christian and you follow Jesus Christ in America. Okay? When it's just a copy. When it's just a copy. Okay? So let's rehash, right? Because man, that gem, you see what I'm saying? That's a gem. And then you apply that to your nationalistic mind. So what I showed you, we did the carbon and the nitrogen. We did the U-melanin, the DNA, and the sun, and the earth. We traced the elements. We traced the elements, right? So with that being said, I want to go into, because I started off with the actual facts. Before we go to the actual facts though, let me peep this right here right quick. Let's peep this right quick. All right. This is a classic gem right here, the 9 ball, okay? That's the symbol, right? That's the symbols that's on the earth right now that need to be recognized. That's speaking about the pristine culture of black people. People from the stars and the heavens and the earth. This is the 9 ball liberation information. Okay. Let's go past that. 1971. So that'll tell you, man, we ain't dealing with the 1900s no more, right? But you still ain't got clear and precise yet. There's no clear presentation of who. We still trying to find out who the devil is. This is an introduction to 9 Reason, okay? This book hit in the 70s. You see what I'm saying? Trying to clean up the minds of black people. And black people wasn't ready. And look at black people today. Because what people need is a cleansing and a remembering. Yeah, we got life and things of that nature, but we got value. We got power in word. We got power in spirit. The purpose of these booklets, known as the 9 Ball, is liberation information for woolly-haired people called the Ethiopian race. We, the scientists of the Ethiopian race, know that whatever Ethiopians do for successful liberation must be done intelligently, meaning the steps we take must be reasonable and practical. All people with genuinely woolly hair by nature are in the Ethiopian race. And the Ethiopian race everywhere is the being we are most concerned about. Not only because we are part of the Ethiopian race, but also because we find our race in the lowest position of all the races. And this is because our race has the least correct information, which is another way of saying the least correct knowledge. Okay? We Ethiopian scientists know that a person or race's physical position, among others, indicate his or its mental position among others. Let's say that again. We Ethiopian scientists know that a person or race's physical position among others indicate his or its mental position among others. Therefore, since our race holds the lowest position of the races on orb Earth, this means that our mental position is lowest, and until our mental position rises, we as a race cannot raise our physical status. Okay. And this is the complete problem with black people right now. Because we want to shuck and jive, right? In the entertainment world. When we should know by now, the entertainment world strips you from your divine self. The elevator of our mental status is 9 knowledge, and the 9 knowledge needed at this time is liberation information. Remember, this book was written in 1971, right? So it says the elevator of our mental status is 9 knowledge, and the 9 knowledge needed at this time is liberation information. For Ethiopians are now in captivity mentally and physically to alien forces and adverse forces. See, that was a revolutionary time, right? And these are revolutionary words. This is revolutionary vocabulary. These are words and combinations of words that, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't go along with slang, right? It's not universal. It's universal in meaning, but, right, catch the concept. Alien forces and adverse forces. Okay, what are forces? Let's check that out right quick. Force. A force is a push or pull upon an object resulting from the object's interaction, right? A force is a push or a pull upon an object resulting from the object's interaction with another object. So when you're saying adverse forces, right, and alien forces, when you, as an object, interacts with another object, There's not on the same frequencies mentally. Yeah, I had to plug in my phone. But anyway, yeah, so that interaction, right, is going to be a push or a pull, right, on a person's energy. You heard energy drainer before. You're pulling my energy, right? Proper attraction can be pushing your energy. You feel me? You want to get all up in your inner circle. Whenever there is an interaction between two objects, there is a force upon each of the objects. When an interaction ceases, the two objects no longer experience the force. Forces only exist as a result of an interaction. There was segregation and then there was integration. Right? There was separation and then integration. Even they want to detach away from black people, but want to keep us connected. Forces. Okay? The booklet's called The Nine Ball. Will present the highest quality of reason and thereby the highest form of knowledge by nature available to woolly-haired people on orb Earth at this time for liberation purposes. The highest quality of reasoning in existence is nine reason, and the highest form of knowledge is nine knowledge, the offspring of nine reason. Nine in anything is the highest, for there is no digit higher than nine. Nine is the origin of the Ethiopian race, and nine is the sons of the universes, including the sun of our solar system. The only way one can tap the living mind of nature is with nine reason. Okay? So let's go back over that. The highest quality of reasoning in existence is nine reason. And the highest form of knowledge is nine knowledge. The offspring of nine reason. Nine in anything is the highest, for there is no digit higher than nine. Nine is the origin of the Ethiopian race. And nine is the sons of the universes, including the sun of our solar system. The only way one can tap the living mind of nature is with nine reason. Okay? Okay? Nine reason. 8 planets plus the sun. Okay? Nine reason. 8 planets plus the sun. Even in this pick through time, they told you Jupiter was a god, Saturn is a god. In fact, to the Romans and Greeks, these are gods. Okay? Venus, right, the bright morning star, Lucifer, Phosphorus was connected to this. You dig what I'm saying? Even when you get deep into your organs, you know you can connect all this together with the body. It's all playing along with the body. But we're talking about the sun. Okay? The Ethiopian race is confined in a prison of alien culture and buried in a grave of adverse ignorance. And this alone is enough to keep woolly-haired people in captivity to enemy forces. So the booklets entitled The Nine Ball are designed to help destroy the mental grave and prison limitations on the minds of Ethiopians, that we will liberate from those who would keep us captive. The mental process is the road to liberation, and that mental process may scientifically be called mental liberation, the purpose of these booklets. Now dig. It says, we Ethiopian scientists do not expect all woolly-haired people to be receptive to 9 reason and 9 knowledge. We Ethiopian scientists do not expect all woolly-haired people to be receptive to 9 reason and 9 knowledge. Now, with that point right there being said, okay, because I've had these books for years, right? And at my age, okay, like all people who grow in age, you get to look back and you get to see the changes in society. You get to see the presidents change, right? When I was a kid, Jimmy Carter was a president, and motherfuckers probably don't even know who the fuck that is. You understand? You get to see the changes, right? And you got to ask yourself, are black people more oppressed by media than ever today? Are black people mentally, spiritually stuck in the media today? Okay. When you're talking about adverse forces along with these alien forces, see the cell phone, right, is presenting a freedom that's not really free. The cell phone is going to be the tool that's going to bring a lot of people down, yo. Because in a sense, intelligently speaking, you should know that you only should be doing certain things on your cell phone. Now I know with everybody, right, you first get this little piece of information. I mean, not just information, you get this cell phone, and the cell phone, you can send video, now you can send, and I'm sure everybody has sent, you know what I'm saying, an eye-opening pic or an eye-opening video, depending on how long you had your cell phone. But if you're still stuck in that mind where you're using your cell phone just for 6 ether, you feel what I'm saying? Then the cell phone is presenting a sense of freedom, a privilege that you think you have, but you really don't. The cell phone is going to bring a whole lot of people down. It's called the cell phone for a reason, okay? It will take time for some to understand, and there are others who will neither understand nor care, but those among us who are intelligent by nature will understand, accept, and adhere. These are the ones we are searching for these are the survival and future of the Ethiopian race. No one can make another intelligent. A person must be born intelligent, and the intelligent among us are the only ones who can liberate self. No one can liberate a person. A person must liberate self by understanding, accepting, and following liberation knowledge. Mental liberation knowledge informs us that before woolly-haired people were called Negroes by Caucasian, we were called Ethiopians. And before we were known as Ethiopians by the Greeks, we were called Nubians by the ancients. The words Ethiopian and Nubian are the same in meaning. They both mean ether, the life-giving, light-giving, burning energies that the sun produces, called prominences and sunshine. Okay, you see how I'm connecting you right now? How I'm bringing you up to date to where we should be thinking and where we should be at in mind. Nature, right? The Caucasian, the white man and woman never taught black people that sunshine is ether, okay? Some of us is going through a hard winter period right now. You can't wait for the sun. It don't matter what race you are. You can't wait for the sun, Okay, that should let you know right there the sun is the Most High. Because if they had, some of us would have been able to reason out our origin many years ago, but one of Caucasian purposes is to keep Ethiopians ignorant so we can be used against ourselves for Caucasian benefit and well-being. So when it says sunshine is ether, I just showed you what the sun is composed of, right? And the carbon and the nitrogen that's found in the DNA and the eumelanin. Okay, these elements are thinking elements, right? So this is the connection. This is the mind wave, the brain wave of being able to receive information and outformation, right, in regards to existing on this planet. Okay. Being that the earth don't have carbon and nitrogen in it, we are also star people. Okay. Carbon and nitrogen, hydrogen, helium. Okay. That lets you know, by way of elements, that the sun is the father. Remember, when we say Ethiopian, we are not referring only to woolly-haired people born in the state of Africa known as Ethiopia, but woolly-haired people wherever they are, namely all people in the Ethiopian race. The root of the word Ethiopian is the word ether, and it means our origin is the sun, because the sun is 9, and 9 ether sun produces the Ethiopian race. Ether, upper regions of space, right? Upper, pure, bright air, sky, firmament. Upper air, bright, pure air, the sky, opposed to air, the lower air, from Athen, to burn, shine, to burn. Okay. Ether connected to Ethiop. Okay. Ethiopian Negro, from Greek Ethiops. Okay. From Athen, that same word, to burn, ops, the face. Okay. And so when you look at the pristineness, the intelligence of the Ethiopian, you go back and you look at the Greeks. Okay. Inhabitant of Ethiopia. Okay. And they translate it as a sun worshiper. We don't worship the sun, we relate to the sun. We are of the sun. Okay, so that's that definition right there. The root of the word Ethiopian is the word ether, and it means our origin is the sun, because the sun is 9, and 9 ether sun produces the Ethiopian race. That makes sense. The Nubians, I'm missing this page 9. I think I'm missing it in both my books too. That little part is significant right there, but it doesn't take away from the rest of the message. So I'll read this right here, and then I'll let it ride, and then you decide who you are, right? The blackness that the Caucasian gets by basking in the sun is temporary, for as soon as he or she quits basking, that person starts getting paler. But it is different with the Ethiopian. Our blackness is inherent from the sun. That is, our being the sun's original offspring. He empowered us Ethiopians with the same powers that he has. The power to be black and produce black offspring. In other words, our skin is black because, like the sun, we Ethiopians have in our reproductive system and marrow of our bones what's called sun heat genes. And these sun heat genes become part of the blood, and they emanate outward to the skin. And our sun heat genes burn the skin black. The more sun heat genes one has, the blacker that person will be. Now you know sun heat genes is eumelanin. Okay? This is 1971. The more sun heat genes one has, the darker that person will be. Therefore, being black is being superior in color because the suns of the universes are jet black, and they are superior to all other universal bodies. Hence, black is not only beautiful, but also the best and purest of the colors. Okay? Now, when I told you about the afro of the sun, we'll read that and leave it there. The sun is male and Mother Earth is female. The sun gives off ether in the form of what is called prominences. Okay, the sun is male and the Mother Earth is female. This is Earth. This is the sun. Okay. Now, I hate to say it like this, but we can keep it real. If the sun had a vagina, penis, and the earth had a vagina, right? Think about that with the prominences. Okay, with the prominences. Let's look that up right quick. The sun gives off ether in the form of what is called prominences. Okay, prominence. Projection, a standing or jutting out from the surface of something. A projection, a jutting out. You see what I'm saying? It's like orgasmic, cosmic orgasming. You know what I'm saying? Jute or stand out, be prominent, overhang. Get that? The sun has antenna called granulation. And Ethiopians' woolly hair looks like that granulation. Is granulation a word? Act of forming into grains. Granule. Small grain. Okay. Then you got a whole breakdown of grain, seed, right? Particle. Okay. A kernel. Right. Yeah, so you got that. Granulations. And Ethiopians' woolly hair looks like that granulation. So our woolly hair may correctly be called granulation. Okay. So our woolly hair may correctly be called granulation. Why? Because of the sun. Okay? Because of the sun. So when you had to change your hair to be accepted, okay? Boom. Do you know there is a difference between who you are by nature and what you accept by nature? You are Negroid African, that is who you are. Now, as to what you have accepted, that is what you allowed yourself to transform into in your mind, in your belief system or religion, even to the point where you have been removed from your own place of origin, now called Africa. And you now accept or believe that you are other than yourself in nature, even to the point where you live by the laws of the opposite to your genes, DNA, race, and kind. I just showed you that. With the melanin and the pheomelanin. You are the ever-living supreme being, the first and will be the last, the very origin of the multiverses into a universe from 9 ether to 1 ether, the combination of all existing chemicals and gases, the multiversal mental to the universal mind. Okay? And when he's talking about these gases, he's talking about the elements that I showed you. The grower, pa-pa'u, the all is you. You are pa'u, all, living and existing things. The sum of all life is of you, and you are who you are. Now the opposites are the positive factors of living nature and the negative factors of dead existence. In many degrees of vibrations from solid, liquid, gas, body, blood, and breath. Okay? So you have negative forces of nature and beyond versus positive forces of nature. We broke down forces, right? Interactions. And beyond, or evil versus good. The true opposites among the two races, the good race, God race, Negroids, and the bad race, devil race, Caucasoids, it's as plain as black and white. Okay, when we see the composition of eumelanin and pheomelanin and see and can determine that they're opposites, then in regards to duality on this planet, because that's how we see and judge things, good or bad, up or down, and things of that nature, right? In the case of the races, there has to be a good race and there has to be a bad race. Insofar as the thinking output and activity of that race. That's a breakdown in the Bible of the white skin. Okay? Now I'm showing you the pheomelanin and things of that nature. Okay? Black people are highly religious in their spirit still, even if they don't go to church or read the Bible, they still praise Jesus Christ. So when you praise in Jesus Christ, you have to look at the origin of Jesus Christ. And I showed you Jesus comes from Heru, African gods, right? But was also placed in the King James Version to mystify. Okay? They talk about a cursed leprosy on the skin in the Bible. They talk about cursed leprosy skin in the Quran. Okay? Pale skin, white hair, blue-eyed child. Now, when you look at this person, you would say, hey, that's an American white kid. But would you say that this is a Spaniard from Spain? And that's what we got to understand. That's what we got to understand. Okay? When the Nation of Islam and Noble Drew Ali and the Moor Science Temple of America and the 5%ers of Nation of Gods and Earth talk about the blue-eyed, blonde-haired devil, okay? See, right now they trying to flip the script. And they trying to have an Indian, Pan-African conversation, right? When you can go look at some of these Indian chiefs with the straight hair saying they don't want to have nothing to do with woolly-haired black people, even if they claiming they Indians. And what black Indians need to be doing is getting them up out of the positions that they in if they're not the true ones. Black people in America have made great strides. The ever-living race is those forces of ether to flesh and blood of nature and beyond who constantly resolve to preserve and magnify in life with joy, music, and dance. As you see in Africa, we people of soul, called soul people, having life, living souls. They even call us colorful people. You see what I'm saying? This is why he took this man off, out of the faces of black people, because he was definitely uplifting. He was definitely doing some uplifting. Okay? Now, right now, this image right now, you got brothers out there like, shaming black women. You got black women shaming themselves when it's coming down to these kids. And it's interesting, I said, when you get older, like I am, you know what I'm saying? You can see the changes. See, me growing up as a kid, I seen all the way to classic hip hop, conscious hip hop. That was good changes. Ain't no good changes for these kids today, man. They just seeing murder, right? They moms is probably off the chain still. Can't stop going to the club. She almost 50. Still juggling dudes. These girls turning into teenagers. They stop remembering the good times. The same thing with little black boys, man, coming from single parent households if your mom is the same. But see, the difference is the man can have a resentment towards the mom or a love for the mom and get in the game. You seeing that with power right now with Kanan and Rock, right? Don't believe anything death teaches you. He is a liar by nature, as you are the truth by your very nature, being opposites. Many Negroes lost in the West called America have been lied to this evil man in his history, like in the case of Abraham Lincoln freeing the African slaves. So you say, we are not Negroes. We are free, or we mixed with the Mongoloid Indians in America who came here from China, just as you came here from Africa. So you mix with them and say, I'm not African, I'm Indian. I'm not African, I'm Indian of this or that tribe. What? You become not who you are. Next, you say, in fact, a Moroccan claimed us. So we're not Africans, we're Moorish from Morocco. Sorry, Morocco is in Africa still. You're African, not Islamic, a religion, not a race. Just as USA is broken up into states or states of existence, they are all one United States of America. But when it comes to Africa, they lie and say we are not all the same race. And in some ways, that's right, but the same for America. People who came here as outsiders, they came to Africa, spread their religion, settled in, took over, and set up states being called separate countries. Ghana, Liberia, Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Niger, and Kenya, north, south, east, and west, was at one time all the same race, one people who became many tribes, but still one and the same race before invaders came. You can say you're not Africans all you wish. The whole planet was ours before you birthed weaker genes, other races. Look at you. You say I'm part Indian, so I'm not African. I'm Indian, Native American, and others do the same. It's already been had, this conversation right there. Okay? That's coming from actual facts. Who you are, not what you accept. And I just broke down who you are. And it's up to you to classify yourself in America as you want to. But like I said, if you ain't giving me an understanding in regards to why you are the 1828 definition, you know, if you ain't giving me what I broke down, then, like I said, man, they be doing anything for clout with their great videos. You feel me?